So first up in today's session we have a calf press performed just on a seated leg press. The reason why I like doing it on a seated leg press is there's less joints to manage. If you do like a standing calf raise on a standing calf raise machine or a Smith machine, you've got to be mindful about what's happening at the hips, the upper body, you're kind of loading your back, whereas this you don't have that issue. And when I'm performing this, what I'm thinking about is keeping a slight bend in my knee joint, just because when your leg's fully locked out, it doesn't feel as comfortable in the knees, and you don't have the ability to use your soleus as well, which is a part of your calf. And here I'm basically focusing on pausing both ranges, keeping that knee joint still, as if the knee moves, that means we're using muscles that role is to move the knee, which is your quad, not our calf. So keeping my knee joint still during it, pausing in both ranges, contracting hard at the top. So that's 3 sets done on the calf press. So on that movement, the rep range is 12 to 15. I just believe working in a bit of a higher rep range feels a bit better for calves. As you probably noticed at the end, I finished it off with partials and then just an iso hold, just focusing on pressing up as much as I can. Although I can't move the weight, it's still going to be stimulating my calves. So that's just a way to get a bit more out of your training, and there's not really much downside to it on like low fatiguing movements like a calf raise, hamstring curl, that sort of thing. So that's what I typically do. So finished up on adductor there, I'm pretty much just thinking about driving my knees in, pausing in both ranges, and I don't mind being a bit faster with my tempo on it, just because my set's a 20 rep set. I've got a rest pause set, so the goal is to basically 3 sets to failure, get 30 reps with the same weight, and then I progress up weight again. So my reps will obviously taper down because I've only got 20 seconds rest in between 3 sets. So the next up is leg extension. Here I'm thinking about basically keeping my joints aligned. Your knees basically extend, they don't move in any other direction, so as a result I want to make sure I'm aligning my knees effectively. Pausing at the top, as that's the benefit of the exercise, to fully shorten your quads, and making sure I'm using straps as well, which is a big game changer when you're So next up we have the seated hamstring curl, and to be honest the same cues apply as the leg extension in terms of making sure our legs are parallel, our knees face forward, just because we don't want force going through our knee in a way that's not comfortable for it. They only move in this direction, so we don't want force going through any other direction. So I'm aligning my knee with the axis of rotation, so where the machine rotates around as well, and then from there focusing on driving my heels back and down and pressing myself away with the pad to stop the machine kind of sliding me forward. So that's basically called creating a counter force. Helps us be more stable, produce more force and get more out of the movement. So leg extension, I had 5 sets of 15. The reason why I've got such high reps for warm-ups, 4 of those sets are warm-ups, the last one's a working set. And the reason why I do 15 reps for my warm-up sets, whereas I would usually taper the reps down, is simply because my knees aren't amazing now, so that helps in regards to reducing load exposure and getting plenty of blood in that area.
So the next movement I have is the true squat. So the true squat is basically a machine that kind of simulates performing a sissy squat to an extent. So when I'm performing the true squat, what I'm basically looking to do is get as much depth as I possibly can, as well as that making sure I'm controlling that change of direction at the bottom. And the reason being is my knees haven't been amazing, which is why I'm performing this movement in the first place. Not that it's not a good movement altogether, but I was using the hack squat, and then after that it was the Smith machine squat, but now I've went to the true squat just because I was still having issues when I was doing the Smith machine squat with my knees. Well, not so much my knees, sorry, with my shoulders, with my lower back struggling to recover, and as well as that I kept getting headaches during the movement. So instead we've moved on to here. I appreciate not everyone has access to machines like this in their gym, but what we basically want to look for a squat pattern movement to target your quads is a movement where we can stay relatively upright, we can get a good amount of bend in the knee, movements where we're relatively stable and the quads are the limiting factor during the movement. That's kind of what we're looking for. And a few examples could be like a Smith machine squat with your heels elevated, a hack squat machine, or even doing a barbell back squat with your heels elevated can be a good option too.
So that is legs wrapped up, really good session. At the end there I didn't put in the clip of walking lunges, but that was basically after the true squat. It was a bit of a bugger to film and I actually forgot as well, but what I'm focusing on with walking lunges is basically taking a relatively moderate step, so that I can get my knee travelling over my toe, but it's not that small that I feel off balance and I've not got a stable base. Also, when I'm doing walking lunges, sorry, I don't know why I'm so dark on the camera, it's not really focusing on me, but when I'm doing walking lunges, what I'm basically thinking about is taking a step, driving up with my front leg, and then standing with my feet together, and then taking another step. I'm not rushing it, taking one step into another, because the goal's not to rush the set, get as much reps as possible. The goal is to target my quads, and if I'm just like doing it extremely fast, not composing myself in between steps, and I'm just going to become off balance, and it's already hard enough to balance. And then with the ab crunch after, what I'm focusing on there is basically flexing my spine by basically curling into a ball is a good thing to think about. And then from there, trying to arch my back very slightly at the top, as that's basically the role of your abs. So yeah, good session. I think I progressed pretty much every single set, so happy days there. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Any questions, let me know. But of course, like, subscribe, comment, greatly appreciate any support as always.